Hey GM, do you remember on December 11, 1993, Malaysia faced one of its worst structural disasters, the collapse of Block 1 of Highland Towers. A once peaceful residential area in Ulu Klang, Selangor turned into a scene of devastation within seconds. Days of heavy monsoon had weakened the hillside, and without warning, a massive landslide struck, destroying the building's foundation. In an instant, the 12-story tower crumbled. Families were trapped, lives were lost, and 48 people were perished. This tragedy remains a painful reminder of the danger of poor hillside development and the importance of strict safety regulation.
Yeah, I remember you. This tragedy was more than just a structural failure. It revealed the dangers of poor urban planning and the lack of proper hillside drainage systems. The imbalance between human development and nature led to devastating consequences. But from this tragedy, we did learn survival lessons. Stricter construction laws were introduced, better hillside monitoring systems were put in place, and public awareness of landslide risks increased. Yet even today, the remains of Highland Tower stands a painful reminder of what happens when safety is overlooked. But we must honor the victims, the survivors, and the rescuers. Are there any environmental issues, Nasir?
One of the environmental impacts that led to this disaster was deforestation and unstable slope. The hillside behind the Highland Towers was initially covered by dense trees and vegetation, which used to stabilize the soil. However, a large section of the soil had to be cleared to make space for the new house development, removing tree roots that held the soil together. Without this network support, the slope became more vulnerable to collapse. So, what do you think, Wei?
Malaysia experiences frequent heavy rains during the annual monsoon season. In the days leading up to the disaster, relentless torrential rains added extra weight to the already unstable soil, weakening the hill behind the towers. The soil became oversaturated, unable to further absorb any water diverted from the nearby Bukit Antarabangsa development. Silt mixed with rainwater, clogging the drains, triggering a catastrophic landslide that destroyed the building's foundation. Was there any human error that contributed to this disaster, Adit?
After the disaster, it is found that both tower and retaining wall had the corners cut during their construction, with both being of questionable quality. These findings violate 3.2.2 of the Engineer's Code of Conduct, where the engineer must verify the accuracy of data collected, as well as 3.2.3, where the engineer must inform the employer regarding the work or materials not in compliance to the specifications of the contract. These lapses of judgment and safety is absolutely unacceptable from these professionals who were tasked with developing our nation, and they had shamed the name of engineer. What do you reckon of this case, Natalie?
I agree with you. With reference to 3.2.2, if the structural engineers took more measures, not cut corners, and designed the retaining wall appropriately, it could have reduced or prevented the landslide, which would directly affect the fall of Highland Towers. In addition to 3.2.3, it can be derived that if the engineers built it accordingly and took more consideration of the weather and the hill, they could have constructed the building to face the landslide and prevent this tragedy. In the end, ethics plays a big part in the fall of Highland Towers and remain as a lesson for everyone.